Hello, welcome to the channel and welcome back to Resurwreck Autos HQ. Today guys, we're continuing with this Ford Fiesta Titanium Cat S and we're going to fit the windscreen today. Now, I've done loads of these windscreens guys and I do make it look, a lot of people say I do make it look easy, but it's not easy. You have to take your time and you have to be really careful. We're dealing with glass at the end of the day. So it's very, very easy to drop it, to break it, to you know what I mean, to chip it. There's so many things that can go wrong. But fingers crossed, this goes okay. I'll show you step by step how I do it and the process of me fitting a windscreen. We have got to put the seats back in. They're bone dry. They've been I come in this morning from yesterday and they're bone dry, but that's obviously because it's hot in here, you know what I mean? It's like a tin roof, so it's going to really sort of hold the heat. So yeah, seats are going to go in as well. We're going to finish off completely finish off the inside. I want to sort of just clean up, wipe down stuff, all the plastics, clean it all up. Do the brakes as well. We can do the brakes. The front and the rear drums need sort of taking apart and sort of servicing. Also, I want to see if I've got time to start these alloy wheels as well. I'm going to let the tyre down a little bit so we can get around the rim, and then we're going to go for it, and then we're going to start those as well. So a lot going on, I've got a couple of days left. I've got today and tomorrow. So, yeah, and then it's the moving part of the end of the week. But let's just see how far we get with this week. Don't know how far, guys. I really don't know, because obviously time just goes away from you, doesn't it? So, but yeah, and also we've got to get it through, you know, MOT checks. We've got to sort of really sort of push it along. But let's jump into it and let's just see what we're going to start with. Let's do this. So, guys, I think the best thing to do, I've had a little sort out, is to get this windscreen fitted first. So yeah, I will clean up this quickly just to get this top part of the dash just cleaner. But yeah, and then it's going to be windscreen. I'll set you up, I'll show you what I'm doing, and I'll show you step by step how I do this, and we'll go from there. If you haven't seen me do this before, it's yeah, it's interesting. So yeah, here we go. Right, let me get the tripod, let me set it up. I'll move these seats out of the way, gives us enough space. I might lower it a little bit if I can as well, take it down, because that does help. You know, the lower it is, the easier it is to place the windscreen. Don't forget, I'm on my own, and I've got to sort of, you know, put the windscreen in on my own. So I'm going to try and get it down a little bit. I could always go and ask for help, but the trouble is that it's one of them things where if you get help, like, you've got to trust that person that's holding that screen. Like, do you know what I mean? So if I'm just holding it, I know that I ain't going to drop it because I'm holding it. But if you ask someone else, they might, you know, let it go too quick, or they might put it in the wrong position, or they might accidentally drop it and it cracks and then puts a crack down the screen. You just don't know what's going to happen. So I feel more comfortable if I just do it on my own. So that's what I'm going to do. But let me get set up, and then we'll get cracking. So yeah, let's do this. So guys, I think I am kind of ready to do the adhesive around the frame. The glass is all been cleaned up. I G101 cleaner first, degreaser, multi-purpose, just give it a clean, then went over it with a glass cleaner just to make sure that it's all cleaned up. So I think the glass is ready apart from the primer. But I always put primer on the car first, the framework, and then do the glass. But I'll show you that in a second. Also, I've got the adhesive in the water, as you can see, just warm water that is, and it just helps soften the stuff that's inside. And then once I sort of use the gun to take it out, the mastic gun, which is this one here, which these guns are probably the better ones. This one's quite old, but it's such a good gun. It's never broken. And they sort of, yeah, it's called a Cox gun, but they're a lot more heavy duty. So yeah, this is what I use. It's been with me for a few years now, this gun. When I used to fit windows, double glazing. So yeah, so that's in there. That's all softening up. This is the primer that you have to use, a body primer for the windscreen. Now, what I'll do is I pour it in there and then use that, dip it in there, and then run it around the outside of the frame. You'll see me doing that in a second. And then once that's done, we'll do the glass. Once the glass is done, leave it for like 20 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that, just a few minutes, just to dry off. And then I'll put the adhesive around the frame. And yeah, we'll see. Fingers crossed this goes well, because you only get one shot at this. That's it. So fingers crossed, guys. But I've done so many of them now, you know, it should be okay. It's just confidence in it. So that's what I'll do. So let me set you up. Let's go for the primer. Let's get that on. Then go for the primer and the glass, and then we'll leave it until the adhesive. Yeah. So let's do this. Right, so guys, as you can see, we've got the primer all the way around. It goes all the way around like that. Goes underneath the VIN number, and then back up, obviously, around there. So that's all done. That's ready now to receive the adhesive, so I can stick the glass on. Also done it around here as well, and it's had some time to dry. I don't really want to touch it in a minute, because obviously I want to make sure that you know, it's doesn't get any sort of prints or any sort of grease over it off my hands or anything like that. So I'm not going to touch that at all. Just going to leave it like that. It's a little bit, still a little bit, needs a little bit of drying time here, and a little bit down the bottom there. So yeah. But I think by the time, it's been about 10-15 minutes since I've done this. So it's had enough time to dry off, I think. And by the time, because I've done this one first, yeah. because I've done this completely dry, because I've done this one first, I can put the I can run the adhesive round, and then once I've done it, I'm going to show you me doing it, but once I've done it, I'll come back and I'll show you what it looks like close up, because yeah, when we do this, we have to cut these nozzles at a V shape like this, and then when you run the mastic adhesive along, it creates a V, so like a point, like a peak in the mastic itself, so that when you put the glass down, it pushes that peak down and flats it off, if you know what I mean. It's a bit tricky to explain. So let me, I'll set you up. Let me put this stuff around, and then I'll come back quickly before I put the glass on to show you exactly what the peak looks like. Now, when doing this, you have to put this this adhesive, you have to put it in one go, what I mean by that is that you can't stop. There can't be no gap in between when you're laying it down. So basically what I do is, you'll see it in a second, I'll start at the bottom here and then go round the whole thing, so that if anything, the gap between the two is going to be down the bottom here and not at the top. So there's more chance of a leak happening at the top and down the sides than there is at the bottom, because water will always run down, so that it will never go up. The water will never go up and in that gap, if there is one. So that's why I do that. I'll start there and work my way around in one continuous bead, which is difficult. It is. It does takes a little bit of strength to do it, because you've got to keep pumping the gun and keep going round. So let me show you me doing that now, and then I'll come back to you quickly, show you the peak, and then we're going to put the glass in. So let's do this. Okay guys, so there you go, the adhesive is on, and you can see that it leaves like a peak. I don't know if I'll try and get it in camera. It kind of leaves like a little peak, so that when you put the glass on, it squashes down. See that, like that. So yeah, that's the way that that's the way they do it. That's the way they lay it on. So let me set you up. Let's go for the screen. Let's get that on, and then that can be yeah, that can sit there and go off whilst we move on to the next bits and pieces what I do. So let's stick you on the tripod. Let's put this on. Let's do this. So there we go, guys. Another successful windscreen fitted. So yeah, I'll just put some sticker like tape just to hold it up whilst the adhesive goes off. It goes off pretty quick, this stuff. It's not, you know, it's normally within, well, like, even when you get a windscreen fitted by a windscreen company, they say about an hour, is it? About an hour, 20 minutes? I don't know, really. But yeah, it's done. It's in. So all we've got to do is connect up the electrical connectors and the earth straps and that sort of stuff. And moving forward with this one, definitely. But yeah, don't know what these stickers are all about, but obviously they're just you know, their brand or whatever. I'll just get them all off. I'll leave it on for now. Don't like to. I just when I fit these screens, I just want to leave them alone, just in case I start messing around and it releases it or pulls it. Just leave it alone. Let it do its job. It can go off and stick properly. But yeah, there we go. Doing the first one of these was really sort of a little bit. Yeah, it was nerve-wracking. I've got to be honest. But once you do a couple of them. It's just a bit of glass at the end of the day. It's like doing this one here. I've never done a quarter panel yet, but I wouldn't hesitate to do them really, to be honest with you. I don't mind doing them. Or the rears on the tailgates. I'll have a go. If I have to, I will. So, but there we go. Right, let's move on to the next stage. And I'm going to probably go for the braking system now. Let's go for the discs, the drums at the back. Let's start stripping it all down, cleaning it all up, just servicing it, just making sure it all works properly. Especially these sliders. We want to make sure they're coming in and out. There's no seized sliders there for the calipers. Just making sure, guys, just doing the checks, just making sure that it's all working correctly and how it should do, you know. But yeah, really nice discs. Someone's changed these recently, these discs, because they're nice and new. They look new anyway. Anyway, guys, let me set you up. Let's quit cracking. And yeah, let's have a little work on these discs and drums. Definitely want to get these drums off. So yeah, I'll set you up. Let's do this. Right, guys, that was an epic fail. I've got to be honest. Just can't get them off. Just can't get these drums off. They look like they're seized, rusted up. Do you know what I mean? I've tried to spray. I've left it, but you know, they just won't. They won't budge. And I don't want to, because obviously you can sort of bend them and break them. I don't want to start whacking the hammer too much at it, and you know, I've got a rubber mallet, and I'm trying to loosen it up. But it just won't pop off. So yeah, think I'm gonna have to leave it as it is. But they're not binding, like you can see. Look, they're spinning really, really well. There's no sort of, you know, I can't hear no friction, no problem, no scratching, no scraping, nothing. So I'm gonna leave it as it is. I'm gonna put the bolts back in place, do them up with the handbrake up. I'll have a look at the other side and see if that will come off. If not, we are going to move to the fronts. And but at least I tried. You know what I mean? At least I had a go. You got to try these things. So yeah, let's. I can strip these down. Let's strip these down. Have a look at these sliders, making sure both sides are working really well. Just clean them all up, grease them all up, and that sort of stuff. And yeah, I will probably get the metal brush and take away the rust, because trying to get these off was an absolute joke. So I'll get all that rust off the front, the facing bits, and then probably put a bit of copper grease just on the drum there itself. Just stop, you know, for the next time someone wants to take this back wheel off, it'll be a lot easier to do it like that. So yeah, that's where we are. So that's what I'll do. But yeah, like I said, I'll check the other side. I'm sure it's the same spinning wise. And then we'll move to the front and have a go at these. And yeah, carry on. Give it a couple of more hours, and then we can continue with the windscreen part of it. Put all the trims back in place, put all the scuttle panel back on, put put these inner trims back on the side pieces, connect up the things, put the seats back in, and oh yeah, I've got to clean the plastics. The plastics are terrible, like obviously the sides trims and stuff over there, and this one here, and just clean it up a bit better. But for the moment, yeah, let's crack on and take these apart, these front discs, pads. So let's do this. Right guys, well, yeah, that's better. Just a clean up, just a service, just clean them all up, making sure that there's no sort of, you know, it's all cleaned up and that. Put some extra copper grease as well around the sliders and around the shims where the brake pads sit, just to help it really. And then I've dabbed some copper grease on the actual piece, the plate where the alloy wheel will sit against. Stop it from seizing up. I've done it on all 4 wheels now, so that should really help when removing the wheels, the alloy wheels. Yeah, so there we go. That is, oh no, I need to put some on that. I've done this side, haven't I missed the other side. Yeah, I've done this side. I just need to put some copper grease on the other side, and then we're done. But I think what we'll do next is we're going to get the rest of the interior done. So clean up all these plastics with the brush and the head cleaner, spray, G101. Get that back on, put the side trims back on, connect up these connectors for the windscreen. We can do that now. I can start pulling stuff off because it's definitely at its time. So yeah. Get the trims on both sides, then get the rubbers back in the doorways, clean off these, all that before I put the rubbers on. I like to clean before I go as I go. So that's what I'll do. And then put the seats back in. Do you know what I mean? Bolt the seats back in place, and then just keep pushing forward with it, really. I haven't even started these alloy wheels. Not even got to them yet. So that's a must as well. I don't know if we want to do this today. Might crack on tomorrow with this one and get the wheels refurbed tomorrow. But it's definitely getting there, this car. It definitely seems to be moving forward now. Now I've done the dash and the windscreen, it just definitely feels like that's it. It's all go. It's all go. So yeah, let's just see how far I get. Like I said, I've got today and tomorrow. and then I'm off on doing the house move for a couple of days, and then back Monday. Yeah, but oh, it is hot. It is very hot. It's unbelievable. Like I don't think I could ever work actually outside in the heat. It would just do me. I'm not great with heat, to be honest with you. I'm not one of these people that like to sunbathe in the sun, because just does me head in. So yeah, I'm definitely drinking a lot of water. I've got going through loads and loads of bottles of water in a minute, so that's good. At least I'm, keeping myself dehydrated. I'm not getting dehydrated. Sorry, I'm having plenty of water. See what I'm saying? I'm starting to mumble again. Anyway, let's set you up. Let's get cracking and let's continue getting this. I think I'm going to get the scuttle one as well, the scuttle panel. So we'll get that on as well. Just do bits and pieces. But for now, let me set you up and let's crack on with the interior. Let's do this, guys. So guys, there we go. Done all the trims, both rubbers, both sides. Done the side trims, both sides, all been connected. Seats are back in place. You see the passenger one, but I've done the driver one as well. That's done. So the only thing I think we've got to do on the inside, looking about really, is the mirror up there. Yeah, and I've got to take out, there's a little box. Let me come and show you quickly. There's a little box on the old windscreen. I don't throw anything now until it's absolutely 100% not finished with. And this is the reason, because you forget things like this. See, this is a little box sensor. I think it's the rain sensor. It could be the light sensor. I'm not sure. But it's a sensor that has to go onto the new screen. And it's exactly what I need to take off and put on the new one. So apart from that and the mirror, I think everything else is done and cleaned as I've gone, which is just, you have to do it as you go, because it's too much. Like if you do the rest of the repairs and at the end go, right, let's clean it, it's too much. It's too much that I want to do anyway. Do you know what I mean? And I personally want to do it because I personally want people to see me doing it. People that turn up to look at these cars, to buy them off of me, they can see me doing every step of the way to get the cars back on the road and clean and tidy, and as they see them. Do you know what I mean? So that's crucial for me. So there we go. I think that's it, the inside. Now we can move on and start doing some outside work, which is here. We're going to do the scuttle panel going across the front there, do the scuttle. There's trims that go up the sides, get all these stickers off, clean them all up, just basically now concentrate on the front end of the car, and yeah, just keep going. I've still got to plug some wires that come up to here. They plug in this sensor, so I've still got to do that. So there is little checks that I still need to do to make sure I haven't forgot anything. So I just want to do my basic checks, look about before we move on and do it, like before I put the bumper on, before I put the bonnet on. Let's just make sure everything's in where it should be. So yeah, but I think tomorrow is going to be bonnet, bumper, alloys. So, but we should have a real good push to get all those bits and pieces done tomorrow. But for today, let me set you up. Let's crack on, guys. Let's just crack on and get this scuttle on, get the panels on. Just keep going until I've run out of time, basically. There is an actual trim. I don't know if you can see that. See, that trim there is just a transporting trim. That needs to come out. So I need to get something to pop that up and pull that right out, because the scuttle panel's got one, and it clicks into that. So that's definitely got to come off. We could do the window wipers as well. Just, yeah, any bits and pieces that I need to do, we're gonna do them now. So let's crack on and let's see how far we get. Let's do this. Right, okay, guys, we are definitely moving along now. Scuttle panels on, the side trims have been put back in place as well. Putting these trims on, especially that scuttle panel, it's like a bead that runs round. Tapping that down into that piece, so it is so nerve-wracking, because you know it don't take much to break this glass, because it's not toughened, it's laminate. And don't get me wrong, they are tough, but it's laminate running through it, and you know, a slight little dink on the edge of the glass just goes boing and cracks it. So it is really nerve-wracking, but I think I'm all right. I think it's okay. Yeah, no problems, no issues. So window wipers are back on place, and I've checked to make sure they work and all good. So that's done. I've reconnected the wires at the front here, pushed it into that sort of restrain sensor there, and the lock sensor. So that's all been pushed in, but for some reason we still have a problem here, and I'll show you what I mean. So basically, I've got the computer set up, and you can see did you see it? So the airbag light has flashed up, and I'm doing a scan on the computer to see if it can tell me, you know, where the issue is, because I more or less guarantee that I plug in everything and put in as I go, and that's why. Let me turn it off. And that's why I do it stages. Really sort of just, you know, don't leave anything overnight or over the weekend. Just do it as you go, and you shouldn't really go wrong doing it that way. But for some reason, it's coming up. So I'll show you. Stick it on number 1 on the key, and then you can go into it. You can go auto scan, which will scan the whole system, or you can just go to this, and then you can bring up certain things that you just want to go into. So as you can see here, it's got the airbag symbol here. So we want to go into that. Now it's just scanning that airbag system that come up. Give me the codes, and that's why it's come up. So we come here, read the codes, and then we can have a good look at what it is. It's just going through the system, checking bits and pieces over the car. But we're just interested in the actual airbag light itself and why it's coming up. So there we go. It's brought me up to central frontal restraint sensor. Now that, and both of them, that is the front sensor at the front on the bonnet. So that's what that is. So yeah, we might have to have a look at this tomorrow. I might have to change it completely, the actual locking bit. I might have to change it. I've got loads of bits and pieces. I've got loads of locks, loads of spare parts. So I'm sure we can get this done, but it's definitely related to the front bonnet. Nothing else is coming up. No other airbag system is actually coming up. So yeah, that is going to be definitely a job for tomorrow, is finding out the issue of this. But I've seen this before, and I've got a funny feeling it's definitely something to do with that front. Nothing else is coming up on the whole car. It's just that there. So it's definitely got something to do with this sensor here. So maybe it's faulty. Maybe it's not pushed in properly. I don't know. But we'll definitely have to take that off. Take this sensor off. Maybe swap it for another one. I have got the other Fiesta outside the front as well. The red Rex to Riches car still sitting outside the front. So I might just take off that one because I know it works fine. There's no proper issues with that. Swap it over and then just see if it does actually make any difference. Then obviously we know that if it is, it's a sensor problem. And obviously this sensor is no good. But yeah, like I said to you, I've got loads of parts and loads of locks and bits and pieces. I've even got this one sitting right here, but it hasn't got the sensor on it. No, typical. But yeah, I've got loads in there, guys, and I'm sure we'll be able to do this. But we're not going to be able to do it today. Unfortunately, I've run out of time. But I hope, you enjoy watching the videos. If you do, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell. Drop me a comment, guys, if you've got anything to say on what's been going on today at Resurwreck HQ. But for now, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.